The world has always had its prophecies, stories passed from lips to ears, from firelit nights under the open sky, to the quiet whispers of elders who knew more than they ever revealed. But few, very few, have survived the erosion of time with such chilling clarity as the one whispered by the Hopi elders. For generations, their words have carried a shadow, a warning, that one day the earth would stand on the edge of a profound reckoning. They spoke of a sign in the heavens, a traveler from the cold abyss between the stars, and the return of beings they called the Ant People guardians from an age before human memory. And now, that prophecy is no longer tucked away in the dusty corners of oral tradition. It stands before us, demanding to be noticed. The date is set, October 29, 2025. It's easy, almost too easy, to dismiss ancient warnings. After all, we live in a world where science explains what our ancestors once feared. We can track the arc of an asteroid with pinpoint precision. We measure the heartbeat of our planet's magnetic field. We even predict the sun's violent flares using silent sentinels in orbit. But what happens when science and prophecy converge? When the calculations of astronomers align perfectly with the words of people who had no telescopes, no satellites, no space agencies? That is exactly what is unfolding right now, because a new traveler has been spotted. Comet 3 I/Atlas, an interstellar visitor. And on October 29, 2025, it will glide through our cosmic neighborhood, on the very day the Hopi warned us about. According to Hopi tradition, the Ant People are not a metaphor. They are described as real, physical beings, small in stature, elongated heads, large, penetrating eyes, a strange fusion of insect-like and human-like features. But unlike the creatures their name might suggest, they are no pests, no predators. They are protectors, teachers, and when humanity's back is against the wall, saviors. The Hopi say that in the distant past, the earth endured great cataclysms, times of fire and ice, floods that swallowed the land, darkness that blotted out the sun. And during these ages of destruction, the Ant People opened the gates to their underground cities. They took humanity in, fed them, sheltered them, taught them until it was safe to walk the surface once more. These stories, they echo across the world. Survival myths from distant cultures. Legends of sky beings or earth dwellers who rescued humanity in times of doom. But in the Hopi telling, their return will not come gently. The elders warn, before they emerge again, the world will pass through chaos. And this chaos will be announced by a sign in the heavens. A star, a comet, burning bright enough for the whole world to see. That's where Comet 3 I/Atlas steps onto the stage. This isn't a routine visitor of ice and dust. It is interstellar. It has traveled unimaginable distances from beyond our solar system itself. Now, another comes. And this one, according to the Hopi timeline, is right on schedule. Skeptics will laugh. They'll say, a comet has nothing to do with ancient beings. But here's where it gets unsettling. The prophecy doesn't just say a comet will appear. It says that when it does, the earth will shake, the rivers will change course, the sky will darken. And scientists tracking 3 I/Atlas admit, while it poses no direct impact threat, its arrival comes at a time of surging solar activity, shifting magnetic fields, a spike in near-Earth asteroid encounters. These aren't mystical guesses. These are NASA reports, ESA data, observations from telescopes across the globe. The alignment is eerie. Which brings us to the question the prophecy forces upon us. If the Ant People are real, why would they return? Is it because something catastrophic is looming, something that will push humanity to the brink again? Or is it because we have reached a turning point in our moral and spiritual journey and they have come to witness our choice? The truth is, the Hopi are not alone in this vision. Across the world, in different tongues, the same warning echoes. The Maya, the Norse, the Book of Revelation, even modern-day visionaries, all speak of a time when the heavens will send a sign and the earth will transform. Let's pause for a moment. October 29th, 2025. That's not the distant future. That's less than a year away. In the vast river of history, it's barely a ripple, the blink of an eye. And yet, can't you feel it? Something's shifting. The weather no longer feels like weather, it feels like a warning. Storms growing more violent. Seasons turning unpredictable. The earth's rhythm stumbling. Politics? They simmer dangerously, just one spark away from boiling over. And above us, strange shapes moving in the skies. Objects without names, now discussed openly by governments as UAPs. The world feels like it's holding its breath, teetering on the edge of something. And if the Hopi elders are right, that something could be the fulfillment of a prophecy whispered for centuries. The Hopi warning is chilling in its simplicity. Before the return of the ant people, their ancient guides the world, they say, will have lost the way. Greed will replace gratitude. Division will replace unity. Pride will blind us to truth. We will worship wealth, forgetting our bond with the earth and with each other. We will mistake technology for wisdom, believing we control nature, until nature reminds us that we never did. And when you look at our headlines today, tell me, does that not sound familiar? What makes this even more haunting is how small the Hopi nation is. A single native people in the deserts of the American Southwest. Yet their prophecy mirrors others scattered across the world. The ancient Egyptians told of star teachers who once walked among us, promising to return when a great sign blazed in the heavens. The Dogon people of Mali spoke of visitors from Sirius, amphibious beings who taught humanity and vowed to return at the dawn of a new age. The Book of Revelation warns of a star called Wormwood, falling from the sky, poisoning the waters, and marking the beginning of great upheaval. Different continents, different languages, different symbols, and yet, could these be pieces of the same ancient truth? If they are, then Comet 3I/Atlas is not just a ball of ice and dust drifting through space. It's a clock, a trigger, a cosmic reminder that history doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in cycles. The Hopi teach that there have been many worlds before this one, each ending in destruction. The first world consumed by fire, the second swallowed by ice, the third drowned in flood. We now live in the fourth world, and the elders say this world will end through a combination of calamities before the fifth world begins. And in that transition, the ant people will return. Guides, protectors, but only for those who have listened. And here's where it gets personal. If they are real, whether as angels, ancestors, extraterrestrials, or something beyond all of that, what will they see when they look at us? Will they find a species worth saving, or one that squandered its final chance? This isn't just about waiting for a date on the calendar. It's about preparing not just with supplies, but with our hearts, our minds, our communities. Because if the Hopi are right, October 29, 2025 is not just the arrival of a comet. It is the opening of a doorway between worlds. And once it opens, what steps through could change everything. That image, a doorway between worlds, isn't just Hopi poetry. It's a pattern you find everywhere. Moments in time when the boundary between our reality and theirs becomes thin. The Celts had Samhain, a night when the veil between worlds wore thin. The Mayans aligned their temples to the heavens so they could speak with higher beings when the skies were right. Every culture carries the same whisper. Sometimes it's a warning. Sometimes it's a promise. But always it's about that moment when something other can step into our world. And according to the Hopi, that moment is coming soon. There are moments in history when the pieces line up so perfectly, you feel in your bones that it can't be chance. October 29th, 2025 might be one of those moments. A wandering comet not from here will sweep past our world. But this isn't just any approach. It arrives under a sky already primed for disturbance. The sun, restless and near the peak of its solar cycle, will be spitting flares, hurling magnetic storms across space. And if those storms collide with Earth as the comet passes, the planet could shiver. Satellites could fail. Power grids could crackle and go dark. And skies over cities that have never seen them could erupt in ghostly curtains of green and red auroras. Most will see it as nature putting on a strange, violent show. But for those who know the old stories, for those who have listened, these will be signs. Signs that the doorway is opening. The Hopi people have spoken of this doorway for generations. And beyond it dwell the Ant people. The name sounds almost playful, but their descriptions are not. They are not tiny, crawling things, but tall, intelligent beings who live far beneath the ground, in cities glowing with a light that has no flame. They are not invaders, but guardians. In the time before time, when the first and second worlds fell into ruin, they sheltered the Hopi. They taught survival when the surface was deadly. They even fed them from their stores, a mysterious bean kept safe underground. Some say their great heads and wide eyes match the modern image of the so-called gray alien. Others believe the stories hint at something far older, far deeper than the UFO legends of our age. And yet, here's the strange thing. In the last decade, governments have finally admitted they've seen crafts that defy our understanding of physics. They've released videos. They've listened to whistleblowers who say non-human intelligence has always been here. But in all the noise, almost no one has connected it to the Hopi. Almost no one has asked, could the Ant people be the very ones we've been chasing in the skies? And if so, are they waiting for this moment to return? The Hopi say the Ant people do not return randomly. They come only at the end of an age to guide those who are ready into the next. It is not rescue from ordinary hardship. It is transformation so vast, the old ways cannot survive it. And transformation of that scale is never gentle. It comes on the back of upheaval. Look around. The world already trembles. Whether once called once in a century, now happens every other season. The balance of nations feels brittle. Conflicts spark like dry grass. And everywhere, in quiet moments, people feel something they can't explain. A sense that something is coming. The Hopi would call it the voice of the earth, whispering a warning. But preparation is not just filling pantries and locking doors. The Hopi speak of a deeper readiness, to live in harmony with the land, to respect all life, to strip away the arrogance that blinds us. Because the Ant people are drawn to those who carry humility in their hearts. Yet there's a part of the prophecy few speak of, because it is uncomfortable. When the doorway opens, not everyone will enter. Some will be turned away. Some will not even see the doorway at all. The return of the Ant people is not only a rescue, it is a test. The ones who ignored the warnings, who chose greed over balance, will face the chaos alone. Other cultures echo this truth, the biblical story of the 10 virgins, where only those prepared entered the wedding feast. The Norse vision of Ragnarok, where only certain souls find shelter in the hidden hall. So, what if the Ant people return and humanity is not ready? The fifth world will still come, but the journey into it will be far more painful. Some will scoff, call this another doomsday story. But the Hopi are not calling for panic or blind faith. They ask only for awareness, for a return to what they call the true path balance with Earth and with the cosmos. And when we lay aside our disbelief and notice the patterns, the comet, the timing, the unrest in the world, the rising number of unexplained sightings, it becomes harder to dismiss as coincidence. Consider this. Comet 3 I/Atlas is an interstellar traveler. It does not belong here. It comes from the deep void between the stars, just as the prophecy spoke of a cosmic messenger. The last time such an object came was Oumuamua in 2017. Even Harvard scientists wondered if it was an artificial probe. What are the odds that another would appear in the exact time frame foretold by an ancient prophecy, warning of a great change? And this comet, it will shine brighter than its size should allow. Astronomers say it could blaze so brightly, it will be impossible to ignore. The Hopi said the sign in the heavens would be like that, a light all will see, whether they understand it or not. In recent years, strange things stir beneath us. Unexplained rumbles deep in the earth, as if something is moving far below. And in the night skies, more lights, more craft, more whispers of contact than ever before. It is as if the walls between our world and theirs are already thinning. October 29, 2025 is coming, and with it, perhaps, the doorway. The question is not whether they will arrive. The question is, will we be ready to step through? The Hopi speak of the purifier, not as a mere myth, but as a force that sweeps through the world when an age is ending. Some believe it is a cosmic traveler, perhaps the very comet now on its way, whose passing will set the Earth's own bones to trembling. Others say it is something far more intimate, a spiritual wind moving through human hearts, stripping away the masks we've worn for centuries. And if you look at the headlines today, maybe it's already here. Secrets that once seemed untouchable are tumbling into the open. Political empires, corporate giants, even sacred institutions, their shadows are being dragged into the light. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, it's chaos with purpose. Exactly what purification feels like. Purification, after all, is not gentle. Fire burns the dross from metal. Water scours away what does not belong. And for humanity, the cleansing will mean facing truths we've buried deep, truths that demand we shed what is false, no matter how tightly we cling to it. The Hopi warn, those who refuse to let go will suffer most. But those who accept the stripping away will find a strange calm in the storm, which leaves us here, staring at one haunting question. Could October 29th, 2025 be the day the Hopi elders have been pointing to for generations? The signs are unsettlingly close. If it is true, the moment to prepare isn't next year, next month, or even tomorrow. It is now. And preparing does not mean hiding underground. It's not about fear, but balance. It's about listening to the Earth's voice in the storms and fires, to each other across the walls we've built, and most of all, to that ancient, quiet voice still alive in our own hearts, reminding us we are part of something vast and sacred. The Hopi say that the ones who are ready will not just survive the change, they will shape the fifth world into something beautiful. A world where we remember we belong to the great web of life, where technology bows to harmony instead of greed, where the scars of the past are lessons, not chains. But whether we arrive at that world through grace or through fire depends on the choices we make today. So as the comet drifts closer and the nights grow long in the northern sky, more and more eyes will look up. Not just scientists in observatories, but neighbors in backyards, standing in the cold, staring at that unfamiliar light and wondering, what does it mean? Something ancient stirs in the human soul when we see such a sign. It whispers, "You are small. The universe is vast." And the old stories may have been true all along. Yet as the light grows, so will the noise. Some will soothe. It's nothing, just another rock in the sky. Others will sound alarms. It's a weapon, a disaster, a threat. Governments may tighten their grip on the story, bending it to avoid unrest. And in that noise, the truth may slip quietly away unless we hold on to it. The Hopi tell us, in that time, the wise will stand still inside themselves. They will not be swept away by fear, nor lulled by false comfort. They will watch. They will listen. They will know. Because this prophecy, it may not unfold like the movies. No grand explosion in the heavens. No sudden, undeniable arrival that stops the world. The return of the ant people may be quiet, subtle, felt before it's seen. Perhaps they will not come to everyone. Perhaps only to those who are ready. And readiness is not a flag you wave. It's not a bunker or a stash of supplies. It's an inward state, a stillness, a knowing. The Hopi say they will come to the ones who remember who they are. And so the question is no longer, will they come? The question is, when they do, will you be ready? Imagine this. Weeks after the comet has blazed past our world, you begin to dream. Not ordinary dreams, but visions so vivid you wake trembling, heart racing. You find yourself walking through vast underground chambers, walls carved smooth by ancient hands, lit by a glow that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere. You hear voices speaking in languages you have never learned yet somehow. You understand every word. And there are hands reaching out to you, not to harm, but to guide. What if these dreams are not dreams at all? What if they are the first point of contact, a test of connection? For those who receive them, a choice will arise. Dismiss them as imagination, or recognize them as the first step into something greater, the first step into the fifth world. But history whispers a caution. We humans have never been good at greeting the unknown. Too often, we meet it with fear, with suspicion, with hostility. If the ant people truly walk among us again, their presence could ignite panic, conflict, even violence. The Hopi warn against this. They say meet them with fear, and the doorway will close for you, perhaps forever. Instead, they urge us. Show respect. Be curious. Be willing to listen. Because this is not just a test of belief. It is a test of character. And what of the fifth world itself? The Hopi describe it as a place of balance, a world where the mistakes of the past are not repeated. It is not some perfect paradise. Struggle will remain, but it will be a life lived in right relationship with the earth and with the other intelligences who share this vast cosmos. The ant people's role is not to rule, but to guide, to pass down knowledge that will help us avoid the destruction that ended the worlds before ours. The fifth world is not a gift handed down from the sky. It is something we co-create. That means this prophecy is not about sitting and waiting for a date on the calendar. It is about preparing now, aligning ourselves with the values of that coming world. Every choice matters. How we treat each other, how we treat the planet, how we respond to crisis. The elders remind us we are the ones we have been waiting for. The return of the ant people is not a rescue mission for the passive. It is an invitation for the active. And maybe that is why this prophecy endures. Because it is not only a warning, it is a mirror. It forces each of us to ask, if the doorway opened today, would I be ready to step through? Would I be the kind of person they would choose to guide, or the kind they would leave behind? As October 29, 2025 draws near, The signs may grow harder to ignore. Strange lights dancing in the night sky. Weather defying all patterns. Unrest rippling across the globe as if the very bones of the old world are groaning under the weight of something unseen. And above it all, a single brilliant point of light will draw closer each night until no one can look away. Some will feel dread when they see it. Others will feel hope. The Hopi say both feelings reveal more about the heart than about the sky. When the comet passes, perhaps the world will look unchanged. But those who know the prophecy will listen for the rumble beneath the ground, for the shift in the air, for the quiet arrival of those who have been here before, waiting in the shadows of history. And perhaps, far from any camera or crowd, the first meeting will take place, a meeting that will begin the shaping of a world still possible, if we choose it. Whether you believe the Hopi prophecy or not, the message it carries cannot be ignored. Live in balance. Show humility. Prepare not just your home, but your heart. Because prophecy is not simply the map of an unavoidable fate. It is a lantern showing us the roads we could still walk. The odd people may be real. The comet is most certainly real. And the choice, as it always has been, is ours. So when you step outside this year and see that new light burning in the night sky, remember the words of the elders. The countdown has begun. The doorway is opening.